I'm the most annoying guy on set because I'm saying, excuse me, you do realize that this should be happening, and they would.
I'm not easily impressed.
No.
I know some people who have done genuinely, seriously impressive stuff, and watching Tom do.
Meanwhile, Rachel Zegler's comments about the backlash to her Snow White role have sparked even more controversy, leaving her especially with the Witcher series. Fans of the Witcher books and video games were already vocal when Cavill was
Henry Cavill and Rachel Zegler, two actors, each thrust into the spotlight in vastly different circumstances, yet both experiencing public scrutiny and backlash for their respective roles in high-profile projects. But while one actor has managed to maintain his calm, respectful demeanor amidst the controversy, the other has struggled to contain her frustration. The contrast between their reactions couldn't be starker. Henry Cavill, always cool and collected, seems to have mastered the art of handling criticism with grace. On the other hand, Rachel Zegler, caught in a whirlwind of backlash surrounding her portrayal of Snow White, has found herself at the center of even more controversy with her fiery responses to the very audience she needs to win over. In a world where public relations and fan support can make or break a career, Cavill's steady demeanor stands in stark contrast to Zegler's increasingly defensive attitude. To understand how this contrast unfolded, let's take a step back and dive into the events that led to this clash of personalities. Henry Cavill, known for his roles in Superman and The Witcher, has faced his fair share of criticism. However, he has consistently proven to be a model of professionalism in the face of adversity. One of the most notable instances of his calm and collected approach to criticism came during his time on The Witcher. Fans of the beloved book and video game series were understandably concerned when it was announced that Cavill would take on the role of Geralt, the series' iconic monster hunter. These concerns grew when it became clear that the show would take significant creative liberties, diverging from the original source material. Rather than dismissing the fans or getting defensive, Cavill took a different route. Instead of closing his ears to the criticism or attacking those who questioned the show's direction, he listened. He understood the deep emotional connection that fans had to the original material and expressed that he too was a fan of The Witcher books and games. With a calm smile and a respectful tone, Cavill acknowledged the fans' concerns, showing empathy for their feelings without resorting to mockery or confrontation. This was not an isolated incident. Over the years, Cavill has consistently shown that he values the relationship between an actor and their audience. When faced with negative reactions, his response has never been to belittle or dismiss the fans, but rather to engage with them in a way that acknowledges their passion. His fans appreciated this level-headed approach, seeing it as a sign of respect for their opinions, even when they were critical of his work. Meanwhile, Rachel Zegler, the young actress cast as the lead in Disney's live-action remake of Snow White, has been embroiled in a much more contentious relationship with her fans. From the moment she was cast, her remarks about the original 1937 animated film created a firestorm. Zegler openly criticized the original Snow White, calling it extremely dated and suggesting that the character of Snow White should no longer be defined by the pursuit of true love. Instead, she argued, Snow White should be a modern, independent character who focuses on leadership. While Zegler's intent may have been to modernize the character and make her more relatable,
under fire for her harsh dismissal of critics. But here's the twist. Despite both actors facing intense public
do that, and you haven't read this, then that means this would be impossible. And everyone's just going, Henry, just shut up and do the thing. And I'm like,
Do these stunts, especially in the mountains in that helicopter. I just thought, okay, I'm officially impressed.
to contemporary audiences, her comments sparked outrage among fans of the classic film. Many felt that her dismissal of the original Snow White was disrespectful to the legacy of the beloved character. What followed was a series of increasingly controversial remarks, where Zegler accused her critics of being toxic and implied that their discontent was rooted in outdated or regressive views. Zegler's defensive posture did nothing to quell the backlash. Instead of attempting to bridge the gap between her vision of the character and the expectations of the audience, she further alienated the very people who might have been open to her interpretation of Snow White. The more she lashed out at her critics, the more the backlash grew. Fans were left feeling as though they were being dismissed and belittled, and the controversy surrounding the film only intensified. The situation reached a boiling point when Disney announced that they would be making significant changes to the classic story, including replacing the seven dwarfs with a group of magical creatures of various genders and sizes. This move was intended to modernize the film and address concerns about outdated stereotypes, but to many fans, it felt like another example of political correctness trumping storytelling. Rather than respecting the essence of the original tale, Disney seemed more focused on appeasing modern sensibilities, much to the dismay of longtime fans of the classic film. In the midst of this drama, Henry Cavill found himself once again in the spotlight, this time as an observer rather than a participant. When asked about the ongoing controversy surrounding Snow White, Cavill's response was simple. He laughed it off. Rather than getting involved in the debate or offering a politically charged opinion, Cavill's reaction to the entire situation was one of amusement. His chuckle spoke volumes, as it seemed to suggest that the drama surrounding the film had reached a level of absurdity that didn't warrant a serious response. To many, Cavill's reaction was a subtle, yet sharp commentary on how the situation had spiraled out of control. This moment was a defining one, as it highlighted the stark contrast between Cavill and Zegler's approaches to handling controversy. Where Zegler had repeatedly fueled the fire with her combative responses, Cavill chose to take the high road, opting to laugh off the absurdity of the situation rather than engage in the drama. His fans, who were already familiar with his calm and respectful demeanor, saw this as yet another example of his ability to navigate Hollywood's chaos with grace. As the release of Disney's Snow White approached, the studio found itself scrambling to manage the fallout from the ongoing controversy. Insiders revealed that Disney was scaling back the film's premiere, opting for a much smaller and more low-key event at the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood. Gone were the extravagant red carpet events, replaced with a quieter, more subdued gathering in an attempt to avoid further scrutiny. Despite these efforts, it seemed clear that no amount
An elite level. It is remarkable, truly remarkable.
Did you feel the pressure to keep up with him?
He sets a wonderful example and a great bar to reach for.
Henry Cavill responded to fan criticism versus Rachel Zegler's meltdown. Let's first take a moment to appreciate how Cavill managed
of damage control would be enough to erase the bad press that had already overshadowed the film. Meanwhile, Henry Cavill's career continued to thrive. His decision to part ways with The Witcher and stand up for the integrity of the source material had only cemented his reputation as an actor who values authenticity and respects his fans. He had become a beacon of professionalism in an industry where many actors are more than willing to conform to modern trends, even at the expense of the stories they're telling. Cavill's move to Warhammer 40K was seen as a fresh start, a chance for him to work on a project where he had full creative control and could ensure that the story remained true to its roots. In a world where Hollywood increasingly prioritizes ideological messaging over quality storytelling, Cavill's decision to walk away from The Witcher spoke volumes. It was a statement against the growing trend of rewriting classic stories to fit modern agendas, and it showed that Cavill was unwilling to compromise on the things that made the original material great. As for Zegler, the controversy surrounding Snow White continued to rage. The film's release was marred by her combative stance toward fans and critics alike, and it became clear that her approach had alienated many of the people she needed to win over. While she may have been attempting to make a statement about modernizing classic characters, her dismissive attitude toward the original material and its fans only made things worse. In the end, the saga of Henry Cavill and Rachel Zegler offers a lesson in how to handle public scrutiny and criticism. Cavill, through his calm demeanor and respect for his fans, has continued to build a strong and loyal following. Zegler, on the other hand, has become a cautionary tale of how not to engage with an audience. In a world where every word is scrutinized, Cavill's ability to laugh off the drama has only endeared him to his fans, while Zegler's more combative approach has only fueled the fire against her. It's a reminder that in Hollywood, where controversy often seems to be the norm, sometimes the best response is simply to take a step back, laugh it off, and remain true to yourself. In this case, it's clear that Henry Cavill has mastered this art, while Rachel Zegler still has much to learn.